In this lesson, we'll explore the Substance Painter to Redshift workflow in the ACEScg color space. Hey folks, welcome to Mograph Plus. This video is a free sample from our course, Redshift Masterclass, your complete guide to Redshift for Cinema 4D. It's a massive 19-hour long course in which we explore all the aspects of Redshift for Cinema 4D thoroughly. Make sure to check it out. The link is in the description. It's highly recommended that you watch the previous videos covering the fundamentals of color spaces and the sRGB color space before proceeding with this one, as I won't be repeating the foundational concepts explained there. If I go to the scene settings and then color management tab, obviously we are in ACEScg by default, so we are rendering in the ACEScg color space. The next step is ensuring that the textures we use are prepared and interpreted correctly to work with ACEScg, whether we generated those textures in a texture painting application or acquired them from the web or other means. Just as with the sRGB color space, we need to ensure that color and scalar textures have the proper color spaces. The rules are the same for both color and scalar textures in the linear sRGB and in the ACEScg color spaces, with one key exception that we will discuss later. Let's head over to Substance Painter. We are using the same scene as our previous lesson, but now the color space is ACEScg and the paint layer on top of the base material is slightly different. If I open the project configuration window from the edit menu, you'll notice the color management is set to OCIO with ACES 1.2 and the working color space is ACEScg. We can press OK now. So now we are in an ACEScg environment in both our texture painting software and our render engine. We can go through the channels. We have our base color, height, roughness, metallic, and normal. Let's view the final material in the viewport. Now let's say we want to export our textures and render the project in Redshift. From the File menu, let's open the Export Textures window. We'll change the output template to PBR metallic roughness, set the file type to PNG at 16-bit, and I'll make sure the export size is 4K. If I go to the List of Exports tab, you'll notice we are exporting our base color, height, roughness, metallic, and normal maps. And here it actually tells us that the base color will be exported to the sRGB color space, while the data textures will be exported as raw, as they contain linear mathematical data meant to drive different attributes of our shader. It's important to understand that by choosing to save our textures as PNGs, we are compromising our ACEScg workflow. Although we authored the textures in ACEScg within Substance Painter, exporting to a format like PNG forces a conversion into a smaller gamma-corrected color space like sRGB. This process irreversibly clamps the white color gamut and clips the high dynamic range data. While these textures can still be used in our Redshift ACEScg scene, they will have already lost their extended color information, limiting the color fidelity of the final render. Later on, we'll see how to export without compromising the ACEScg pipeline. For the output directory, let's go to the text folder in the project files for this update. Navigate to the SP exports folder and in there create a new folder and name it ACEScg_PNG. We'll go in there and click Select Folder. Now we can simply click Export and wait for the textures to be exported. It takes just a few seconds and we are done. Now if I go to the export directory, we can take a look at our exported textures. We will probably just use the normal map and skip the height map for this demonstration as we just want to focus on proper exporting. We have our color and scalar textures. Because we have exported our textures as PNGs with the sRGB color space, the same rules apply. For color textures, the color space will be set to sRGB. For scalar textures, the color space will be set to raw. Here we have only one color texture, which is the base or diffuse color, and the rest are scalar or data textures. Now let's go back to Cinema 4D. Select the preview sphere object and assign a new Redshift material to it. Open it up in the node editor. Set its reflection weight to 0 and start IPR in the render view. Now add a new texture node. Load the base color texture and connect it to the base color input of the material. Now we created this base color texture in the ACEScg color space in Substance Painter, but saved it to sRGB when exporting. So we must make sure the color space is set to sRGB. If I change the color space to ACEScg, you'll notice we get an incorrect representation of our texture. So let's set the color space back to sRGB and start the render. If I compare the result to the base color channel in Substance Painter, we get very similar colors. The colors look a bit washed out in Cinema 4D. This is because the Substance Painter working space is ACEScg, and we exported those textures to sRGB, so we have clipped some data during the conversion. Next, let's take care of our scalar maps. The first one is roughness. Let's first set the reflection weight back to 1, add a new texture node and load the roughness texture. Connect it to the roughness input of the material. For this texture, we set the color space to raw because this is raw mathematical data that will be used to drive an attribute, in this case roughness. So to summarize for this workflow, for your 8 or 16-bit color textures, okay, in case they are PNG or JPEG, set the color space to sRGB. For your scalar textures, set the color space to raw. If I compare the result to Substance Painter, it looks pretty similar. However, since we don't have any normal or height data yet on our Redshift material and the environment exposure might be different between Cinema 4D and Substance Painter, the results might vary slightly. And most importantly, the colors are a bit washed out in Cinema 4D. Now let's take care of the metallic map. Copy the roughness map and load the metallic map. It already has the proper color space because we copied it from the roughness setup. Now simply connect it to the metalness input of the material. And finally, for the normal map, let's copy the previous node again. Load the normal map and add a bump map node. Connect the normal map to the bump map node. And set the input map type to tangent space normal and then connect it to the bump map input of the material. We'll skip the height map for this example. Now, what if we wanted to preserve the full ACEScg color space when exporting out of Substance Painter or any other texture painting software? Let's stop the render and get back to Substance Painter and open the Export Textures window again. All we have to do is to export our textures to a format that can hold the full ACEScg gamut. That would be 16 or 32-bit EXRs or 32-bit TIFFs. EXR is the industry gold standard, so let's change the file type to EXR. 16-bit float should be enough. Remember, 16-bit TIFF or PNG are not like 16-bit EXR. They are 16-bit integer, while EXR is floating point. Now, if I go to the list of exports tab, you'll notice the base color will be exported as an EXR and it will retain the full ACEScg color space, while the data maps will be exported as raw EXRs with no color space information. Let's get back to the Settings tab. Click on the output directory, go back to the SP exports folder, and create a new folder named ACEScg_EXR. and then click on Export. Now let's get back to Cinema 4D and start IPR. Add a new texture node. Load the base color EXR texture. To experiment, let's set its color space to sRGB, while we know it is the wrong decision, and connect it to the base color input of the material. If I run IPR again, you notice using the sRGB color space for this texture, we get the wrong result. We must change the color space to ACEScg because the EXR file contains the full gamut information we exported from Substance Painter. EXR files are inherently linear by design, which we learned in the previous video. Now we get the correct result, which looks exactly like it did in Substance Painter. Now if I swap the base color EXR texture with the PNG texture and toggle back and forth between them, you'll notice the PNG texture is a bit washed out compared to the EXR texture, which keeps the full vibrant ACEScg colors from Substance Painter. You can see the colors are exactly the same in Cinema 4D and Substance Painter when using the EXR texture, but if we use the base color PNG texture and compare, the result in Cinema 4D is slightly washed out. This demonstrates that saving to EXR is the ideal way to maintain a true end-to-end ACEScg workflow. As a final note, if you had a linear sRGB texture saved in EXR or TIFF format and wanted to use it as the base color, just make sure the color space is set to linear sRGB and not ACEScg, just as we learned in the previous video when we exported linear sRGB base color texture in EXR format. And that covers the fundamentals of Substance Painter to Redshift workflow in the ACEScg color space.